Big news for the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders have made a strong move by signing linebacker Devin White to a one-year contract. This is a huge step for the team, and I can't wait to break down what it means. The Raiders had their eyes on a linebacker for a while. At first, they went after Christian Ellis, offering him nearly $7 million a year. But since the Patriots had the right to match any offer, they kept him. That meant the Raiders had to change course and find another strong addition to their defense. And now they've landed Devin White, a player with experience, toughness, and a serious impact on the field. Even though he's been in the league for several years, he still plays with incredible aggression and power. Before we dive deeper into how he fits into the Raiders' defense, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss out on the latest news. Now, let's get into it. Devin White has an impressive record. While last season with Houston wasn't his best, his 5 years with Tampa Bay were outstanding. He averaged 100 tackles per season, with some years reaching as high as 140 tackles. On top of that, he has 23 career sacks, 9 fumble recoveries, and 6 forced fumbles, showing he's not just a tackler, but a playmaker. This move fits perfectly with Pete Carroll's defensive vision. The Raiders want a physical, aggressive defense, and White brings exactly that. Expect a mix of Carroll's classic Cover 3 defense, which helped build the legendary Legion of Boom, combined with Patrick Graham's strategies. One thing is clear, the Raiders aren't gambling on young, unproven players. They want veterans who can make an immediate impact, and with Devin White in the mix, the defense just got a whole lot tougher. Devin White. Signing. A smart move for the Raiders. This move by the Raiders is low risk, high reward, exactly what a smart front office does. A one-year contract gives White the perfect chance to prove himself, and if he delivers, it's a win-win for both him and the team. Now, shifting gears, there's been a lot of talk about Raiders GM John Spytek and his plans for the team. He recently gave some insights into their approach, focusing on how they evaluate every quarterback option. Let's be real. The Raiders' quarterback situation last year was a mess. It was far from what's needed to compete in a division where Patrick Mahomes is the standard. The team knew they had to make changes, and that's exactly what they've been working on. Spytek made it clear that no option was off the table when it came to improving the QB position. The goal? Find a leader who can get this team closer to the top. While they may not have landed a superstar just yet, it's clear that the Raiders are making serious moves to upgrade their roster. The strategy is obvious. Build a stronger, tougher team, led by experienced players who can make an immediate impact. And with Devin White now in the mix, the defense is shaping up to be more aggressive and physical than ever before. Raiders' strategy. Building a winner now, not later. Not every team can draft a superstar quarterback and immediately transform into a contender. That's why the Raiders are taking a smart, strategic approach, building a solid team first, then finding the right quarterback to lead it. Pete Carroll isn't here to wait around for a rebuild. He's a coach who wants to win now, and that's exactly what the Raiders are trying to do. From the moment he and GM John Spytek took over, they've been clear. This team is going to compete immediately, and the moves they've made so far prove they mean business. The Raiders didn't give up a high draft pick to get a potential starting quarterback. The third-round pick they traded wasn't even in the top 75. It was a late third-rounder. That's an incredible value if they end up with a quarterback who can lead this team for years to come. Spytek also pointed out something interesting. Familiarity matters. When teams bring in a quarterback they've never worked with before, they don't truly know what they're getting. But Pete Carroll knows exactly what this guy brings. He's coached him before. He's seen his work ethic, his leadership, and his ability to command an offense. That's why this move makes perfect sense for the Raiders. Is this the final piece of the puzzle? Maybe not, but it's a step in the right direction. And for a team looking to build a strong, winning culture, that's exactly what they need right now. Raiders' game plan. Smart drafting and building a strong core. The Raiders aren't just making moves, they're making the right moves. With free agency wrapping up, all eyes are on the draft, where John Spytek and his team are carefully mapping out their strategy to strengthen both sides of the ball. Spytek recently attended Boise State's Pro Day, reportedly keeping a close eye on running back Ashton Jeanty. The team even took him out to dinner, a clear sign they're doing their homework. But whether the Raiders select Jeanty, a top offensive lineman, or another impact player, one thing is certain. Every move they make is about giving this offense the tools it needs to succeed. Building a defense that can dominate Spytek also touched on a key priority, the defensive line. The AFC West is packed with elite quarterbacks, and if you can't pressure them, you can't beat them. That's why the Raiders focused on retaining key pass rushers like Adam Butler and Malcolm Kuntze, players who can collapse the pocket and disrupt opposing offenses. Max Crosby's stamp of approval. One name getting a lot of attention this offseason: Jackson Powers Johnson. Raiders star Max Crosby has been working closely with the young center, and his words say it all. He's got all the talent. He's putting in the work. He's showing up every single day. And trust me, it ain't easy. Crosby isn't one to hand out compliments lightly. If he believes in Powers Johnson, that means the kid is grinding, improving, and proving he belongs. And when a leader like Crosby is personally pushing a teammate to be great, you know the Raiders are building a winning culture from the inside out. The pieces are coming together. The draft will be the next big step, and if the Raiders play their cards right, this team won't just be better, they'll be a real problem for the rest of the league. Jackson Powers Johnson, a future leader in the making. Max Crosby has seen it all: great players, hard workers, and those who separate themselves with relentless effort. And right now, Jackson Powers Johnson is doing exactly that. Showing up at 6:15 a.m. every day isn't just about extra reps. It's about commitment, discipline, and wanting to be great. Some players roll into the facility at their scheduled time, but Powers Johnson is already sweating, grinding, and pushing himself to another level. That's the kind of work ethic that turns a rookie into a leader and a good player into an elite one. Max Crosby, a guy who built his career on outworking the competition, sees something special in this young center. He's not handing out praise lightly, but even he admits, this guy is showing up. He's putting in the work. He's got the talent. Now it's about tying it all together. The Raiders' offensive future looks bright. It's easy to see why people are already predicting Powers Johnson as a future captain. He's not just physically dominant. His football IQ, processing speed, and ability to read the game at an elite level set him apart. In a few years, he could be one of the best centers in the league, a cornerstone of the Raiders' offense. With young talent like Brock Bowers and Powers Johnson, the Raiders aren't just thinking about this season. They're building a powerhouse for the future. Could Hunter Renfrow make a return? In other news, the Raiders have met with former wide receiver Hunter Renfrow, a familiar face who could bring valuable experience back to the team. Renfrow, now 29, didn't play last season, but his skill set and connection to the franchise make his visit an intriguing one. Will the Raiders bring him back? That remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: this team is making moves with one goal in mind: winning. Hunter Renfrow's possible return, a Raiders reunion, or just a story. Hunter Renfrow's name is back in the mix, and it's sparking plenty of conversation. Not long ago, reports surfaced that Renfrow had started a post-football career, possibly in finance or sales. It seemed like his playing days were behind him. But then, Renfrow himself shut down the speculation, saying he's determined to make an NFL comeback. Now, he's meeting with the Raiders. A return to the team that drafted him would be a great story, but the big question remains: does he fit into what the Raiders are building? Is Renfrow a good fit for this offense? Renfrow has always been a solid route runner, known for creating separation in short yardage situations. But let's be honest, he's not the deep threat receiver who forces safeties to respect his speed. The Raiders need explosive playmakers, guys who can take a short pass and turn it into 6 points. With Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, and Trey Tucker already in the mix, does Renfrow really fill a need? If the price is right, maybe. But if he's looking for a big contract, the Raiders might be better off investing in a true X-wide receiver, someone who can stretch the field and keep defenses on their toes. What's the best move for the Raiders? The team could prioritize adding a dynamic wide receiver in the draft instead of bringing back Renfrow. A young, explosive playmaker would complement the current roster better and give the offense the spark it needs. That said, if Renfrow is willing to take a depth role at the right price, he could still bring valuable experience and reliability to the locker room. It's all about whether his skill set aligns with what Chip Kelly's offense needs. Final verdict: a nostalgic reunion or a necessary move. Renfrow returning would make for a great story, but the Raiders must focus on building a more dynamic and dangerous offense. If they sign him, great. If not, the team still has plenty of other options to bolster their receiving core. Either way, Renfrow's journey back to the NFL is worth watching, but whether it happens in silver and black remains to be seen.